appreciate it. Now, I'm very, very saddened to say that since following England's defeat against Italy on Sunday, some of our black footballers have faced all sorts of racist abuse unfairly, and they should never face this sort of thing. Now, I'm going to give you today 4 reasons why you shouldn't do this, 2 case studies, and something we should do instead. Okay? Because this sort of abuse of anyone, sportsman or sportswoman or not, it shouldn't be happen. But let me tell you 4 good reasons why you should not give a sportsman or sportswoman any form of racist abuse. Number one, okay, you will bring your guess what's going to happen? It's going to be picked up by the media, and it's going to mention, you know, the name of your club, and your club could face a fine for something that you've done, which you don't want. On top of that, your club's good name will be affected. You don't want that, so don't do it. Number two, you run the risk of a criminal record. Now, it is possible, although unlikely, that you give a footballer racist abuse, could face a criminal charge. You may get fined, you will get convicted. Now, you do that, and your employer is going to be will be quite justified in letting you go. When you get a criminal record, you try getting credit. It's going to be very difficult. You try paying for anything by direct debit. They'll do your credit referencing. You won't get it. Okay. For example, I advocate paying your electricity and gas bills by monthly direct debit on a budget plan to spread it out. You have a bad credit reference score, they won't do that. You have to pay by payment meters because they don't want to put themselves at risk. Don't do it. It really affects your employment status and your credit file. So don't get a criminal record. Another thing is, if you get a criminal record, some employers will look at you and just say, "No, off you go, mate. We're not going to consider you." That's the next thing. Third reason. Okay, you might get banned from your football club. It has happened, and just think about it. If you're a season ticket holder or whatever, you give a footballer racist abuse, you run the very real risk of being banned from your ground. Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool manager, has rightfully said that if you're going to give a footballer racist abuse, you are no longer welcome at Anfield. And I'm pretty damn certain that the managers of all the football clubs, from John O'Groats to Land's End, or any sportsman or any sportswoman racist abuse, you run the risk that they might raise their game. And I'm going to give you 2 case studies of this. The first one, the 1989 Merseyside derby, Liverpool versus Everton at Goodison Park. Liverpool won that game 3-1. Now, in those days, they didn't segregate Liverpool and Everton supporters. They do now. And what actually happened was something quite strange, to say the very least. We were at Gladys Street End, where all the Everton supporters were. I'm a Liverpool supporter, and there was this guy giving John Barnes a whole load of racial abuse. It was embarrassing. Even some Everton supporters were telling him to shut up. And Everton scored first, and Barnes raised his game and equalised. It was coming. Liverpool were going into the game. But then what actually happened at half time, I said to all my friends, "Do you want me to shut this guy up?" Because even the Everton supporters were getting cheesed off with him. And they said, "Okay, if there's a fight, we'll back you up." And there won't be one. So I just said to him, "Mate, you're giving Barnes a stick about his colour." I said, "Yes, you packy." I said, "Well, listen, mate. Why is it people like you go to a country like Spain to get a tan like mine, which is going to last you 2 weeks, cost you a fortune, and give you skin cancer? Well, mine's free, permanent, and protecting you from skin cancer." People started laughing at her like crazy. So, deduce from that what you will. But the thing here is, I don't know. I'd love to ask John Barnes this question: did he hear this guy? Because in the second half, he played the game of his life. Now, the thing is, Barnes took the Everton defence apart. He went past them as if they weren't there. Now, it pains me to say this, but at the time, Everton had as one of the central defenders a guy called Kevin Ratcliffe. Kevin Ratcliffe was at the time the Wales captain, and he was without doubt one of the best central defenders there ever was. He's in the same league as Bobby Moore, Alan Hansen, Virgil van Dijk, Kevin Ratcliffe. Arguably, he's one of the best central defenders the world has ever seen. And Barnes went past him like he wasn't there. They didn't know what to do with him. And had it not been for the heroics of Neville Southall, Liverpool would have won that game 10-1 instead of because of flattering 3-1. So that's a risk you take. You don't want to be doing this. Second example was in 1995. Liverpool had just signed Stan Collymore, a black player from Nottingham Forest. Great player. He'd been signed for £8 million, which in those days was a record. It'll get you peanuts now, but that's a different story. Now, during the game, all the Sheffield Wednesday supporters were giving Stan Collymore a whole load of abuse. They were shouting out, "What a waste of money," and things such as that. Some of them were hurling racist abuse at him. Reprehensibly, some of them threw banana skins at him, which I thought was terrible. Given that I'm a resident of Sheffield, I was really embarrassed by this. So what actually happens? Halfway through the second half, Redknapp passes the ball to Barnes, Jamie Redknapp, to get John Barnes, gives the ball to Stan Collymore. Collymore performs heroic and scored a screamer from 35 yards. The flying fat man, Kevin Pressman, the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper, didn't stand a chance. And from that moment, all you could hear from the Sheffield Wednesday supporters was pin drop deadly silence. What does that tell you? So don't do it. You run the risk of that footballer raising their game. So don't do it. But there's something more important that we should all be campaigning against. And I want you all to be writing to your members of parliament, your councillor, your MP, your prime minister, your world leaders, whatever. We have all got to start a concerted campaign to stop India and Pakistan from playing in the World Cup. It's very important we do this. Next year in the World Cup, we must not let India and Pakistan play. And there's a very important reason. Because every time they get a corner, they're going to open up a shop. It's really important we stop them from doing this. So we must ban India and Pakistan from playing in the World Cup. Humorous note aside. Thank you very much for your time. I'll speak to you soon, but I'll welcome your comments. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.